views, we are going to see the general features of this special lumbar vertebrae. The vertebrae classification. There are two classification are there: typical lumbar vertebrae and the atypical lumbar vertebrae. Its ossification and the applied anatomy. Now this lumbar vertebrae, the is 1 to 5. From about onwards, we can count this lumbar vertebrae as a L1, L2, L3, L4, and L5. The special features, or in general, we can see there is a lumbar vertebrae having body, pedicles. There are the processes are there: spinous process, transverse process, intervertebral foramen, lamina. These are the features you can see in the diagram. This lumbar vertebrae L1 to L5. The body of the lumbar vertebrae is progressively increase in mass. Then see this pedicle. Especially in lumbar vertebrae, you can observe this pedicle. These are the longer and wider than the thoracic. When I compare this thoracic vertebrae and the lumbar vertebrae, as a point of pedicle, these pedicles are wider and the longer, and these are the oval in shape. Now, regarding the spinous process of lumbar vertebrae, this is horizontal and square shaped. Transverse process smaller than the thoracic vertebrae. You can see all these parts one by one. Next slide. And regarding its intervertebral foramen, it is large but with increased incidence of the nerve root compression. So this is introduction of the lumbar vertebrae. The lumbar vertebrae present 5 in number. It has body, pedicles, spinous process, transverse process, lamina, intervertebral foramen. All these parts are there. Now it's important, its anatomical position. When you hold this vertebrae, you have to hold in anatomical position, such like in your body, the body and the spinous process. According to that, you have to hold this body is in front and the spine. Now, what are the common features of the lumbar vertebrae? See, we have studied the cervical vertebrae, coccyx, and today we are going to see the lumbar vertebrae. At the end of the we are going to compare all these ones, and remember these points. These are the general points regarding the lumbar vertebrae. It has the massive body. Then its foramen, vertebral foramen is somewhat triangular in shape. Spine is quadrangular. Superior articular facet is concave and the inferior articular facet is convex. Its posterior inferior part of root of the transverse process has rough, and there is elevation seen, that is the accessory processes there. So these are the general features regarding the lumbar vertebrae: massive body, triangular vertebral foramen, quadrangular spine, superior articular facet is concave and inferior articular facet is convex. The superior articular facet is articulate with the inferior articular facet of above one, and the inferior articular facet is articulate with the superior articular facet of the below one. In the exam, this vertebrae in an anatomical position, the question may be asked, what type of this bone? You have to answer this properly. Then you have to hold it anatomical position and enumerate its parts. Its anatomical position already we have seen. When you hold this anatomical position, its massive or large body faces forward and the spinous process towards you. As like this is it has largest part body that is the posterior part of the vertebrae, that is the pedicle. Then we can see there is a superior articular facet, transverse process, lamina, and the spinous process. So you have to enumerate all these parts. When you hold an anatomical position, you have to establish anatomical position. Then you have to enumerate all these parts of the vertebrae. Number one, identifying marks are there. I repeat all these things. It has enormous uniform bodies. Here you can say there is an absence of costal facet on the body. So again you have to remember here the costal facet present on which vertebrae? Okay, there is a thoracic vertebrae having the general features or characteristic of the thoracic vertebrae, having there is a costal facets present on the body, which are absent in the lumbar vertebrae. Then absence of the foramen in the transverse process. So this foramen transverse is present only and only in the cervical vertebrae. That means this foramen transverse is absent in the lumbar vertebrae. So this is main another identification mark of the lumbar vertebrae. Then presence of accessory and mammillary process. Here in the lumbar vertebrae, you can see this elevation, that is accessory and the mammillary process are present in the lumbar vertebrae. Then it has the spinous process. So, lumbar vertebrae spinous process, but especially it is a thick quadrilateral spinous process. So according to its identification features, it has the enormous reniform bodies, absence of costal facets which are present only in the thoracic vertebrae, absence of foramen transverse which is present in the cervical vertebrae. Here the presence of the accessory and mammillary process and the thick quadrilateral spinous process. Isn't it clear? So this is main identification features regarding the lumbar vertebrae. Classify this bone. Lumbar vertebrae, irregular type of the bone. It has the 5 in number. Then subdivisions are there. Typical lumbar vertebrae and the atypical lumbar vertebrae. So these are the typical lumbar vertebrae. From above downwards, you can count first, second, third, fourth. This is first to fourth is a typical lumbar vertebrae which having the same features, and the fifth one is only one atypical lumbar vertebrae. Now we are going to see this lumbar vertebrae. In this diagram, you can see there is a massive body is there. The body is large. It is wider from side to side than the before backward. Now here, be carefully, this is two-dimensional diagram is there, but you remember here its body is greater in anterior and anterior than the posterior, and this difference which is forward convexity of the lumbar spine. Then I repeat, this body, typical lumbar vertebrae body is massive body, large and is wider from side to side, from before backward. Remember here this anteriorly the height of body is greater than the posterior, and this is because this is difference contribute to the forward convexity of the lumbar spine. Then see this vertebral foramen. This vertebral foramen is a triangular in shape and larger than in thoracic region, but smaller than in cervical region. Vertebral foramen is a triangular, larger in thoracic region, but smaller in cervical region. Okay. Now next one, this vertebral arch. Okay. See this pedicle. Find out this pedicle label. These pedicles are short and strong. These project backward in direction, especially in the upper part of the body. Due to its attachment with the body in upper part, there is the inferior vertebral notch are much deeper than superior vertebral notch. So what is the superior vertebral notch and the inferior vertebral notch? Where the pedicle is attached to the body, the superiorly forming an arch-like structure, that is a superior vertebral notch. Similarly, on the inferior side of the pedicle, it forms U-shaped arch, that is the inferior vertebral arch. So here you have to remember regarding its pedicles in the typical lumbar vertebrae, the pedicles are attached to the upper part of the body. Because of that, its inferior vertebral notch is much deeper than the superior. The lamina, you can see, identify this lamina. See, lamina is short and thick and broad. So lamina is short, thick and broad. Direction backward and medially. Here it completes the foramen, vertebral foramen posteriorly. Then see the spine, spinous process. It is a vertical quadrilateral plate-like structure. Its direction almost backward and slightly downwards, and it is thickened along its posterior and inferior border only. So regarding the spinous process, it is a vertical quadrilateral plate directed backward medially, is directed backwards and slightly downwards, and it is thickened along its posterior and the inferior border. See its transverse process are thin and tapering. Transverse process are thin and tapering and directed laterally and slightly backward. Posterior inferior aspect of this each transverse process to see the posterior inferior root of the transverse process. There is a, you can see the label, there is a marked small rough elevation. This is called accessory process. See in the diagram, labeling is there, accessory process. It is present where at the root of the transverse process, posterior inferior aspect of the transverse process. So this is accessory process. This accessory process represents the true transverse process of the vertebra. And see, onwards L1 to L5, this transverse process length increase from the L1 to L3, L1 to L3, and then after it decreases. This is the MCQ or Viva question. The length of the transverse process increases from the L1, L2, L3. After that, L4, L5, it is decreases. Remember that this is a MCQ or Viva question. Now see this superior articular facet. In this diagram, you can see clearly blue colored label marking is there, and the label is there superior articular facet, articular process. Further apart than the inferior. This superior articular process bears the facet. This facet facing medially backward. Then the posterior border of its marked rough elevation part, that is called a mammillary process. So you understood here what is the mammillary process and what is the accessory process. Once again I repeat this point. This accessory process is present on the posterior inferior towards the root of the transverse process. This elevated portion is called accessory process, and mammillary process is present at the posterior border of the superior articular process. This rough elevation portion is mammillary process. Isn't it clear? See in this diagram, you can't see this inferior articular facet process is nearer to each other. So what is the difference between the superior articular facet and the inferior articular facet or process? Superior articular process is further apart than the inferior, and the inferior articular process lies near to each other than the superior. Each process bears a convex facet facing laterally and forward. So clear about this typical lumbar vertebrae? This is, it has body, vertebral foramen, vertebral arch contains, there is the pedicles, laminae, spine, transverse process, and articular process. That is a superior and inferior articular process. So what points you have to remember here? There may be asked in the Viva commonly regarding its pedicles, transverse process. At the posterior inferior of the root of the transverse process, there is an accessory process. They may ask show it. So this elevation portion you have to show at the root of the transverse process. Another one point they may ask regarding to this superior articular facet. Posterior border, it has the rough elevation portion, that is called a mammillary process. In the Viva, they may ask show it. So you have to remember one more point regarding its foramen, vertebral foramen shape, and the spinous process. So you have to remember all these points. This is very important as a purpose of the Viva. So they may ask what is the mammillary process, show me, and the accessory process, show me. Clear? Then another one point they ask regarding its processes, that is articular process, superior articular process and the inferior articular process. Remember here, the superior articular facet is further apart than the inferior, and the inferior articular facet nearer to each other than the superior one. When you put in anatomical position by naked eye, you can see all these features. You have to remember this is a question. Now all these we are going to see this once again. Repeat these points. The body of the vertebrae has a massive, the reniform. Then transverse diameter is more in relation to the anterior posterior diameter. It's constricted in front and at the sides. The size of the body increase progressively from the first lumbar vertebrae to the fifth lumbar vertebrae. The length of the body is somewhat greater anteriorly. Because of this, the convexity of the lumbar vertebrae column is present, and the body has no costal facet on its sides. So this is main point. Then you can differentiate the lumbar vertebrae from the thoracic vertebrae. See this, all these diagrams already I explained. Once again, see this regarding its body. Reniform is there, somewhat triangular vertebral foramen is there, short pedicle is present. Then you have to see this transverse process. Then at the root of the posterior inferiorly, we can see there is a accessory process. Then you can see the superior articular process. At the posterior border of the superior articular process, there is a mammillary process is there. Then you can see this lateral view. The lateral view, we see there is a inferior vertebral notch is there because of this pedicle is attached to the upper portion of the body of the lumbar vertebrae. Then you can here mention that the superior vertebral notch is shallow and the inferior vertebral notch is deeper. Then you can see here this transverse process, superior articular process. At the posteriorly of the superior articular process, see the mammillary process. So this is from the lateral view. Now see this posterior view. So what point you have to explain from the posterior view? The superior articular process is further apart from the than in inferior, but the inferior articular process is nearer to each other. So body is large, transverse diameter, anterior-posterior diameter is larger. Then upper, it has the upper and the lower surface, which is there is a presence of the hyaline cartilage covered by this hyaline cartilage. Anteriorly, there is an anterior longitudinal ligament in the midline. Then the crura. Remember here, this is why our MCQ question mainly asked in the Viva. The attachment of the crura, right crus in upper 3 and the left crus upper 2 are there. Then psoas major and tendinous arches, upper and lower margins of sides of the body and the posterior surface, there is ligament is attached. Then see this regarding its vertebral foramen. You have seen it is a triangular in cross section. Dura mater and arachnoid mater is presence up to the L1 to L5. Conus medullaris with diameter at the L1 level and chorda equina at the L2 to L5 is there. Then see this posterior portion of the vertebra. Posterior the structure is present is pedicle. It is short and strong. Inferior vertebral notches are deeper than the superior vertebral notch. Then it has formation of the intervertebral foramen and transverse by the spinal nerves and radicular vessels. So this is pedicles. See its lamina. You have to identify this lamina in the diagram. It is a short and thick. Its direction is posteromedially. There is a ligamentum flavum in upper border and the lower half of its anterior surface, presence of the ligamentum flavum. And the posterior surface of the lamina, there is a deep muscles of the back. This presence, we will see the diagrammatically in the next slide. What about the spines? Spine is a quadrilateral. Its posterior border, there is supraspinatus ligament is attached, and posterior lamina of the thoracolumbar fascia. In the next diagram, you can see this, all this attachment is there. Then superior and inferior border, there is an interspinous ligament in the midline and the interspinalis muscle on each side. Sides of the spine, there is a deep muscle of the back are seen. So spine is quadrilateral. There is the attachment of the supraspinatus ligament, then thoracolumbar spine, thoracolumbar fascia. Then you can see the superior inferior border. interspinous ligament and the interspinalis muscle is there, and the deep muscles of the back. Then what about this transverse process? It is a tapering and the thin process, homologous with the ribs. Middle and lateral articulate ligament attached to the tip of the transverse process of the L1. So, especially in the Viva, they may ask regarding its L1 vertebrae. This question may be asked: the medial and lateral arcuate ligament, where it attach? It attach at the tip of the transverse process of the L1, and the iliolumbar ligament, where it attach? This question may be asked: the iliolumbar ligament attached to the tip of the transverse process of L5. Then middle lamina of the thoracolumbar fascia is attached to L1 to L5. Here you have to remember these 2 points. At the tip of the transverse process of the L1 attachment, there is a medial and lateral arcuate ligament, and the tip of the L5 transverse process, there is a iliolumbar ligament is attached. Its anterior surface, when you hold in anatomical position, you see this anterior surface, it is a faint ridge, anterior lamina of the thoracolumbar fascia. Medial to the ridge, there is a psoas major muscle is attached. Lateral to ridge, there is a quadratus lumborum. In upper border of the upper and the lower border of the transverse process, there is intertransversi muscle is present. Then earlier we have seen there is a root of the transverse process, there is a elevation portion, that is accessory process is there. Here the medial intertransverse muscle is attached. On the posterior surface of this transverse process, there is a deep muscles of the back is attached. Then you see these articular processes are there. 2 articular process, superior articular process. BS, there is a superior articular passage which is concave and medially directed. Inferior articular passage which is convex and laterally directed. Now distance between these 2 superior articular process is relatively more. Earlier I am saying that there is a further apart from. It is relatively more than the inferior articular process in L1, L2, L3. And here relation is reversed in the L5 and equal distance at L4 level. So this is Viva question you have to remember regarding this lumbar vertebrae. Regarding its articular process, there are the 2 articular process are there, superior articular process and the inferior articular process. Superior articular process, because there is a superior articular facet which is concave and directed medially, inferior articular facet which is convex and directed laterally. Regarding its distance between these 2 superior articular facet is relatively more than inferior articular process is present in the upper 3, L1, L2, L3. What about L4? The superior articular process and the inferior articular process are almost in equal distance. And what about the L5? There is a reverse relation. That means the superior articular process is nearer to that and the inferior articular process is apart from this one. Then posterior border of the superior articular process, there is a bony elevation, rough portion you can see, you can feel this one in the diagram, you can see this one back posterior to the blue colored facet, that is a mammillary process. The medial transverse muscles and the deep muscles are attached to this one. See in this diagram, big diagram, especially you can identify its superior articular facet, posterior border at this one, there is a rough portion, elevation portion, you can see that is a mammillary process. And towards this transverse process, you can see here the labeled accessory process. Accessory process is a posterior inferior at the root of the transverse process. Now features regarding this fifth lumbar vertebrae. There is a lumbar vertebrae. You can see yes, there is a transverse process which is thick and short, and is connected to whole of the pedicles and apart of the body. And its distance between the inferior articular process is more than the superior articular process. The body is very much deeper anteriorly than the posterior. So see this diagram once again. The common features you can see the body, pedicles. Earlier we have seen there is a thick short process are there. You can see here in the diagram the thick and short transverse process, lamina, spinal canal, that is a vertebral foramen, and spinous process. Also you can see here its superior view and the lateral view. The superior view, you can identify its transverse process. It is a short, thick, and pyramidal in shape, and its superior articular facet process bears the facet which face more backward than the medial. So this is fifth lumbar vertebrae. What is these characteristics? The transverse process thick, short, pyramidal in shape. Their base is connected to the entire thickness of the pedicle and encloses the side of the body. They look to be turned upward in direction. What about the spine? Spine is not least considerable and rounded. About body, it is largest of the body. Its height, the outermost part of the body is the posterior surface. This difference is change of the sudden or notable looks more backward than the medially. Inferior articular facet looks more forward than the laterally as when compared with the typical lumbar vertebrae. The space between this inferior articular process is equivalent or more than between the okay. Here in the Viva, they may ask this L1, L2, L3, L5 lumbar vertebrae. There is a rule is there, Fawcett's rule for identification of individual lumbar vertebrae. So you have to remember these diagrams. You have to remember this L1, L2, it is a trapezium in shape. Then L3 is vertical rectangle, L4 is square, and L5 is horizontal rectangle. So this is Fawcett's rule for identification of the lumbar vertebrae. In the Viva, they may ask regarding it, how to identify the lumbar vertebrae. Then special features of this lumbar vertebrae. See in the diagram, there is a green color of the lumbar vertebrae. This is the first lumbar vertebrae. What is its importance? The L1 is roughly in line with the anterior end of the ninth rib. At the level is called transpyloric plane. What is this transpyloric plane? The pylorus of stomach is found at this level. So here the clinically important answer in the Viva or MCQ, this question may ask regarding this first lumbar vertebrae. At the level is transpyloric plane is present. Now another one diagram you can see there is a color, green color, that is a lumbar fifth vertebra. It is significantly different in morphology, with its body bearing much deeper in front than behind. So what is this? which is allowed for articulation with the sacrovertebral prominences. The spinous process is smaller. There is a wider interval between the inferior articular process and the transverse process are thicker and spring from the body as well as the pedicles. Here you have to remember this point regarding the L1 transpyloric plane is there and the L4 morphological difference is there. Body being much deeper in front than behind, and which allows for the articulation with sacrovertebral prominence. So this is important, you have to remember. Then special features connecting the muscles and ligament. You can see this diagram. Anteriorly there is a longitudinal ligament which connects to the upper and lower ridge of the lumbar vertebral bodies, presents anteriorly. Posterior longitudinal ligament connect on the upper and the lower edge of the lumbar vertebrae bodies from posterior side. Then right crus of the diaphragm is connected on the front of the upper three lumbar vertebrae, and the left crus of the diaphragm is connected on the front of the upper two lumbar vertebrae. So L1, L2, L3, right side crus of the diaphragm is connected front of the upper front of this L1, L2, L3, and the left crus of the diaphragm is connected in front of the L1, L2. Psoas major arising by the press cases from the fleshy cases from upper and lower edges of the lumbar vertebrae. Then tendinous arches of the psoas and psoas major are connected across the constricted part of the bodies on every side. Ligamenta flava are connected to the lamina of the adjacent vertebrae. See this, all this diagram also. Posterior layer of the thoracolumbar fascia is connected to the spinous process of lumbar vertebrae. Supraspinous, interspinous ligaments connected to the spinous process of these vertebrae. Then erector spinae muscle and multifidus muscle. You can see in this diagram. Erector spinae and multifidus muscles connected to the spinous process of lumbar vertebrae. In the middle layer of the thoracolumbar fascia connected to the tip of transverse process of all lumbar vertebrae. In the diagram you can see this green color. Thoracolumbar fascia is there. Anterior layer, middle layer and the posterior layer is there. This middle layer at the tip of the transverse process. Medial and lateral articulate ligament of the diaphragm connected to the tip of transverse process of L1 vertebrae. Viva question or MCQ. Anterior layer of the thoracolumbar fascia connected to the vagus ridge on the front of the transverse process. When you feel the transverse process, you can feel a ridge on the anteriorly. Here, this anterior layer of the thoracolumbar fascia attached. Multifidus and intertransverse muscles are connected to the mammillary process. So, mammillary process presents on the posterior border of the superior articular process. Iliolumbar ligaments are connected to the tip of the transverse process of the fifth lumbar vertebrae, and the accessory and mammillary process supply connection to the medial transverse muscle. So diagrammatically you can see all this vertebral body to side there is a psoas major and its tendinous arch is there. Then you can see there is a posterior longitudinal ligament. Anteriorly we can see green color anterior longitudinal ligament. Blue color you can see the basivertebral vein. Then in the next diagram we can see there is a relation of the superior towards this pedicle. Superior vertebral notch is there. There is a spinal nerve and the radicular artery is there. You can see in front of the on the lamina there is ligamentum flavum is there. Spinous process you can see there is the interspinalis muscle and the interspinous ligament attachment. Towards the tip of the spinous process there is a posterior lamina of the thoracolumbar fascia. Supraspinous ligament is attached. Towards this transverse process you can see there is a lateral intertransverse muscle and the medial intertransverse muscle is attached. So this is attachment on this one. So main point and why question important things you have to remember all these things. There is a difference between the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar vertebra regarding the body, spinous process, vertebral foramen, transverse process, superior and inferior articular process, and the movements. See, there is a body of the cervical vertebrae is smaller, wider, side to side. In the thoracic, it is larger and cervical than the cervical. It is heart-shaped and bears two costal facets, which is in the lumbar vertebrae. It is a massive kidney-shaped body. Spinous process of the cervical vertebrae are short, projected directly posteriorly. In the thoracic vertebrae, the spinous process are long, sharp, and project inferiorly, where the lumbar vertebrae spinous process are short, blunt, project directly posteriorly. What about vertebral foramen? In the cervical vertebrae, there is a triangular in shape. Thoracic, it is a circular, and lumbar, it is triangular in shape. About the superior and inferior articular process, in the cervical vertebrae, a superior articular facet directed superior posteriorly. Inferior facet directed inferior anterior. In the thoracic region, superior facet directed posteriorly and inferior facets direct anterior. And in the lumbar, you can see the superior facet directed posterior-medially or medially, and the inferior facet direct anterior-medially or laterally. Movements: cervical vertebrae moves, flexion and extension, lateral flexion, rotation, the spine region with a greater range of the movement. This thoracic vertebrae, the movements allowed: rotation, lateral flexion, possible but limited by ribs, and flexion and extension prevented. In the lumbar, we can see the flexion and extension, some lateral flexion and rotation here the prevented. So this is all lumbar vertebrae according to its characteristics or parts of this lumbar vertebrae: body, spinous process, vertebral foramen, transverse process. Here you can see the transverse process of the cervical vertebrae contains this foramina. In the thoracic, bears the facet for the ribs except 11 and 12 thoracic, and in the lumbar it is a thin and tapered transverse process. So all these points you have to remember and differentiate the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar vertebrae between, and this is very important in the one. So what about this ossification vertebra? It has the primary centers, 3 are there, one for body, one for each half of the vertebral. Appearance: there is a 9th and 16 weeks of the intrauterine life, and they fuses each half of vertebral arch with each other 1 year, and vertebral arch with body 3 to 6 years. Secondary centers 5, 1 each. Annual epiphyseal rings are there, upper and lower surface of the body, 1 each tip of the transverse process, tip of the spine. Appearance: puberty and fuses at the 50 years. Additional centers appears, 1 for each of mammillary process. Ossification centers, you have seen their primary centers appears between the 7th and 8th week of the intrauterine life, 1 for body, and fuses 2 halves of the vertebral arch fused during the first year. Vertebral arch fuses with the body during the 6th year. 2 for 2 halves of the vertebral arch. Secondary centers appears at the puberty level, 2 for the annular epiphysis of the upper and the lower surface of the body, 2 for tip of the transverse process, 2 for mammillary process, and 1 for the tip of the spine. And the fuses, the portion derived from the secondary center fuse with the rest of the body. Applied anatomy, you can see there is a sacralization of the 5th lumbar vertebrae. It is anomalies of the vertebral column. Here the fusion of the L5 with the sacrum. There is a complete fusion or incomplete fusion is there, and transverse process of the lumbar 5th may articulate with ala of sacrum and compress the L5 spinal nerve. Spina bifida, this is a clinical features we can see. There is a occurs due to non-fusion of two halves of the vertebral arch. Meninges and spinal cords are exposed and may herniate out in the midline through the gap. Lumbar disc prolapse and the lumbar spondylosis. It is a degenerative changes which is affected the disc, vertebral bodies and associated joint of the lumbar vertebrae. Cauda equina syndromes, clinically there is a presence due to the compression of the cauda equina at the level of the L2 to S1. Clinically it presents the flaccid paraplegia, saddle shaped anesthesia, bladder and bowel involvement. There is impotence, absence of the knee and the ankle reflexivity. So thank you.